Excuse, sir. We can't hear the voice, please.
Unmute yourself, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning to all of you. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
good
sir.
morning,
Good morning.
sir.
I can hear you well. You're
How are
welcome.
you all?
We are all fine,
Well,
sir.
we're all fine, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Have you gone through any of the materials for this course?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Which- Can I ask that?
Sir?
Can I
Come again,
ask
please.
which one of the blogs that you have gone through or any course materials?
Yes, sir. You are good to go.
You are about to go. Okay. If you actually simultaneously read the materials, then it will be really beneficial for you, because otherwise you may forget many of the things or you may miss out things.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
Mm.
that's why actually we say. And as you know, till last class we have covered block 1 and block 2. Okay. Uh, we had talked about the learner support services, the basic issues, institutional arrangements, then self-directed learning. Then we have even covered the cognitive skills, study skills, reading and writing skills, problem solving skills. Okay, all the development of skills as well as the learner support, the introductory block. Both the blocks we have completed till now. And today we will be discussing about the third block, that is on counseling and tutoring services. This is the third block of this course, and as usual, this block has also 4 units altogether. Okay, and today we will be discussing about the counselors and the counseling skills. What exactly uh, the counseling and tutoring services are meant in open and distance learning system, and why counseling is important, and who generally are our counselors, and how can we appoint or select counselors, what should be the qualities and skills of a counselor, and the kind of information and communication technology that we are using for counseling sessions, because now uh, this block is quite important and interesting also, in that sense, because one of us in our lives, uh, yeah, each one of you, um, each one of us in our life also have some or the other problems which we face, and for that we may need some sort of assistance, motivation, information, advising, guidance, okay, in our life, maybe from our peer group, from our friends, from our family members, or from our teachers, from whosoever it may be, maybe the doctors, okay, the socio-cyclical uh, aspects also we face in our lives, and for that also we need some sort of assistance and information from the superiors and the peer groups itself. Then that aspect, how it is important and how it plays an important role to sustain our mm, motivation, okay, and how and altogether we can say that how these all happen in open and distance learning system, and how these are important and relevant in that perspective. And we are going to see these concepts in a formal way, or from the institutional point of view, or from a counselor's point of view, or from teacher's point of view also we can, okay.
Dr. Tata Ramakrishna, sir.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm Dr. Jagdamba Prasad from Dehradun.
yeah, tell me.
Sir, yeah, I have also entered the meeting. I've seen that the students, whenever you are presenting some PPT, and then whenever students try to enter, then it disturbs you. So
Yeah.
we'll be also means we will remain present in the meeting. So we will do that the task of admitting the people once you start this
Okay,
PPT, because
okay. That's why actually I'm taking time. Initially, I was thinking that now it's already. I think only 10 or 11 they have joined,
yes, sir.
and that's why I was discussing and reviewing the last
Yeah.
sessions only. Uh,
Okay, so
okay,
there's no problem. We'll be here to admit the people. You continue with your other content. Means I know that when you present that PPT, then it become difficult to switch from PPT
no,
to
no,
the.
it's okay. I am managing that.
Okay, we know that you are managing, but it disturbs the somehow.
It disturbs sometimes.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's true.
Okay, you continue, sir.
Okay. Uh, and friends, as I said, that those are the aspects, that what are the different types of counseling, and how the counseling, it may be academic or non-academic, it may be personal, one-to-one or group counseling, how exactly this counseling takes place, and at what circumstance the counseling one does need for study purpose, and how the formal and informal counseling are being done, okay. And from the institutional point of view, if we see that what exactly this counseling process has to uh, contribute to the academic endeavor of the learners, that is our main motto for including this block into this course, we can say. And as we all know that the counseling and the tutoring also maybe uh, uh, there is there is slight difference also in between these concepts, okay, that we will see. And and meanwhile, may I ask you, any one of you who has gone through block 3 till now? Have anybody read block 3? As I have been asking you all to read the blogs before coming for the next class, and as usual, today also, in the last class, I had said that today we will be discussing block 3. Uh, have you anyone gone through block 3?
Yes, I've gone through first
Okay,
unit.
okay. Uh, yeah, how was it? How do you see that unit on counseling?
Yeah, on counseling,
Yeah,
I have now understood the meaning of counseling.
okay,
In counseling, you don't provide the solution, you don't provide the answer, but you give guidance.
yes.
Then it is a cooperative process through which individuals are helped to achieve their goals, make decisions, solve their problems. Then there are some counseling, is it the counseling types which are offered by distance university, open distance universities, type of counsels which it is counsels which is offered to the learners,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
like pre-admission, during the
Yes,
course of the program, even
yes,
after the course of the program.
yes.
So yes, I've gone through. Now I have a question, sir.
Yeah.
Is there any difference between tutoring and teaching?
Yes, we will see that the tutoring and counseling. Perhaps you want to ask, is there any difference between tutoring and counseling? That while presenting, I will speak about both the concepts in more clear terms, and I will try to even differentiate also in between these two, and how in open and distance education institutions, both the things we do in a collaborative way, that we may not separate the academic and non-academic part from each other. And as we all know, that as there is a heterogeneity in the distance learners, they may seek counseling as well as the tutoring services also from the institutions. That we will discuss how these concepts are related to each other, and how they contribute to the overall teaching learning process, as such we can say, and how these services are considered as a major support services for any open and distance learning institutions, that we will discuss. And let me share my screen. We can go to the just a second.
So while you're doing that, can I just make a few comments on the block three?
Pardon?
Can I make few comments while you are working on presentation on block three?
Brokery.
Yes, I mean, like for me, it's as a teacher right now, it's been helpful, especially the first unit, which we
Okay.
are talking about counseling, in the sense
Yeah.
that looking at the qualities of a counselor. I think most teachers, if those who are working within the education system, must have those qualities of counseling, because sometimes we don't know what the students are going through, and we just have to relate to what they are doing, especially in terms of being empathy. You're able to share with their feelings. And that was probably one of my most interesting parts, looking at the qualities of a counselor, who is a good counselor. And as a distance learner in this course, I looked at how I'm so far from my fellow students, and my struggles with my studies might not be the same. But at the same time, when I know that I have my tutor who is here to help with the counseling, is comforting. So I think it's really a good chapter, or a good unit to look at. Thank you.
Yes, I will come to you once I share the screen. Just give me. Can you see the slide?
No, sir.
Not
Okay.
yet, sir.
Okay. Now can you see it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Mm, just is it coming?
No.
No?
No, sir.
Not yet.
No, sir.
Okay. Just a second. Again, I will.
Okay.
Just a second.
It is okay
Yes,
now.
we are seeing now.
Can you see it now?
Yes, sir.
You can
Yes,
see
sir.
it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, today we will be discussing about this counseling and tutoring services, as I said. Okay. Then both the concepts as counseling and tutoring. Okay. Then media and counseling that are being used in counseling and tutoring, and how to organize the counseling and tutoring sessions as per our requirements in open and distance learning system for the benefit of the learners. Okay. These are the main concepts, and these are the main focal points for today's discussion. Okay. We will be dealing with all these concepts. Okay. Then what are the main learning outcomes or objectives, as such we can say, is that to discuss counseling and tutoring services as a major learner support. Just as we had seen that the development of skills, the assessment and evaluation support, the other support services, the course materials, and the kind of other support services, administrative support, and other things we have talked about. Uh, just a minute.
Sir, I am admitting. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, okay, okay,
No problem. I will be doing that.
okay. Mm, yeah. Then the need and importance of counseling services. Okay. That how these counseling and tutoring services are not only beneficial for the learners, but also from the institutional point of view or from the teaching learning point of view, because ultimately the institutions and the teachers, they design certain programs and courses with some objectives and with some program specifications, program objectives, we can say, where we would like the our learners to achieve some knowledge, gain some knowledge, or to achieve some skills, or they should develop certain skills so that they can be uh, as if I talk about this particular program MA in distance education, then we hope that all of you should be in a position to build up yourself as one of the effective counselors in open and distance education system, and you should be in a position to even choose some academic counselors or your tutors, or you should be in a position to differentiate between these concepts, and you should be in a position to help the distance learners if you will be given any opportunity to work in any of the ODL institutions in the all across the globe, we can say. And then you should be in a position to identify all these concepts and know the intricacies of these concepts, and implement the main thematically, we can say, and the main skills that are required on the part of a counselor, and apply them in an holistic way. Then when particularly the counseling is required by the learners in while pursuing the open and distance learning programs, that also we will discuss. Okay, then various forms of counseling and tutoring, definitely we can see. Then the qualities and skills that are required on the part of a counselor. Okay, these are the objectives or learning outcomes of today's session. Then and when we say about the open and distance learning system, then definitely we are talking about the learners of open and distance education system as a whole. As we all know that in open and distance learning system, there may be a variety of learners or variety of students. Okay, here we call our students as learners also. As we all know, the variety may be of various regions, and that we have been discussing almost in all the counseling sessions that took place previously for this course. And we have been discussing that there may be meritorious students, there may be at-risk learners. Okay, there may be some learners who belong to far from eh, some sort of demographic uh, heterogeneity that we are talking. Even we are talking about the social and economic heterogeneity. Even we are talking in terms of the physical ability and disability. Okay, and even in as per today's situation, even there is heterogeneity in terms of the use of technology is also concerned. Okay, some are techno savvy and some are even not techno savvy, but we have to design our programs and courses and our services in such a way that we should reach to our learners and should be in a position to provide them the better services. Okay, and that may be counseling and tutoring services or any other support services, but today we will be focusing upon the counseling and tutoring services. Okay. Then, as we say that most of them are adult learners. Okay. Um, Yeah, and as we know that the employment or the housewives in the families, and even some senior persons, I think I have given one example that in our own school or department, we have an old person of around 87 years. He is pursuing his PhD from our department. Those kind of learners are also there and pursuing their either research degree programs or professional programs, or for the sake of gaining knowledge and skills in their post-retirement life also, some learners are getting into our institutions. Okay, then, and mostly in open and distance education, we say that our learners are self-directed, self-motivated, and self-disciplined. Why do we say this? Because here, whoever comes to take admission, maybe due to their personal reasons they must have come, but they are showing their own interest. And for them, when they feel that if somebody is on job or needs some professional degree for further promotion or for professional growth, then he or she may join certain programs. Or similarly, if anybody, as I have given the example, in the old days and for the housewives, when they think that they should they should get some uh, professional degrees or some degrees, so that they can be they can educate themselves, or they can be the sources of income for their family. When they decide, when they are self motivated, then they come for doing certain programs, and they join certain programs. At that time we call them as the self directed and self motivated also. But even for them, the institution should be in a position to provide a variety of services, not only in terms of the self learning materials, but also in terms of the other services that are being required by the learners from pre-admission till the completion of the programs. And even after the completion of the program, they may need uh, certain services from the institution. For example, for maybe for the placement or opportunities, or some other opportunities, or they may like do some higher educational programs, research programs in the future. All these services, the institutions should be in a position to even provide the career counseling or career guidance also to the learners. Okay, these are the mainly some of the variety of characteristics that we are referring for our own learners. Okay, then these are, when I talked about the characteristics of learners, then I think we should also talk about the characteristics of the institutions also. As you have seen, that we have been giving example of IGNO as a mega university, as a people's university, and the largest in the world. uh, we have developed a huge system, a huge network of support, not only in the country but also for the neighboring countries, and for the overseas countries like yours and others also. Okay, and we have been trying to reach the learners almost not only in India but also in many countries across the world through the it may be either the face to face and the campus based support, or the support services that we have been providing through online also. And through you, as we have been witnessing that IGNO, uh, as a mega university, it has umbrella type of institutions all across the country. We can say that it has more than 68 regional centers, and 2000 plus study centers also we are having. And this is a huge network, and through these regional centers and study centers, we are trying to reach to the learners through our variety of services. This is a kind of complex system that any institution can be explained as. But some institutions have some remote type of structure, and they may be only providing support services from the headquarter, or they may be having some we can say that a student support center or student support being provided only from the headquarter or through the some technological we can say that some of the technologies may be used by the institutions to provide certain support services also. But there are a variety of uh, methods that any institutions can apply and provide the learner support, but it depends upon the kind of creativity and the kind of innovative mindsets that we have as professionals working for the open and distance learning system. The UK Open University may be having a different structure and different uh, we can say that the institutional structure or the human resources and the other technological support, but IGNO may be slightly different from that of other universities, or the South African Open University may be following a bit different. But ultimately the goal of each and every open distance education learning universities or institution is to reach to the learners. Okay. Because ultimately we hope for a good teaching and learning process with our support services, or the kind of counseling tutoring services, the self instructional materials or self learning materials. Okay. And the assessment and evaluation support, or even any kind of whenever we are talking about the academic and tutoring support that we are going to discuss also. Okay. uh, okay. See, if our regional centers are also developed, or if we at all we have these many of study centers and regional centers, then also the provision of these services is a factor that needs to be discussed and needs to be reviewed time to time, and needs to be understood in a proper way based upon the requirements of the learners. Then only we can be in a position to provide the individualized and need based support to our learners. Okay, these are the big challenges we can say. uh,
Dr. Tata, I have a question.
yeah.
So, characteristics of the institution. So, the institutions that you are talking about are open distance learning institutions.
Yes.
Then, what you have pointed out are challenges, isn't it? Only the challenges, characteristics as in challenges.
Yes, these are the characteristics. Actually, see, as we had already discussed, that the institutions may be having the decentralized model or centralized model. They may be having many of regional centers, study center structures, and they may be having different units for student support through equal opportunity sales, grievance sales, or admission administrative support, or academic support. Okay. But ultimately in framing the self learning materials and providing them the materials on time, then reaching to the learners through their counseling and tutoring services, then providing and proper counseling and tutoring services to the learners on time, and the monitoring the learning progress of the learners, then making arrangements for the assessment and evaluation support, and even after their assessment and evaluation, to help them for further studies and to help them for getting an employment. These all the services that an institution has to plan, and these are the challenges. Even these are the, when we are talking about variety of systems, then we are talking about the characteristic or that we are attributing to the institution. Okay. Then even when we are talking about the complex system of the institutions, there may be some bureaucratic structures. For example, any university or any institution, maybe we can talk about or give an example that under the vice chancellor there may be some pro vice chancellors, and under the pro vice chancellors there may be many administrative heads of some schools of studies, some divisions, some cells, some units. Okay, and under each unit also there may be the unit head or division head or the school head. Okay, and under that also there may be academics, teachers, or even the administrative staff. Okay, and overally in the university there may be assessment and evaluation division or wing, and student registration and admission wing. Then for the data management and data processing division may be there. See, these are the complex structures and bureaucratic structures that as per uh, the seniority and as per the work allotment or work allocation, we can having this hierarchical structure as such, we can say. But these are the things which the institutions have to manage. And if you will be building your career in the same profession in the or if you would like to see yourselves for the future ODL institution teachers or the uh, or the administrators, then definitely you have to know all these things, that how the characteristics of the distance learners are there, and what are the ODL institutions all across the country, how they are doing nowadays, how the transition has come, and now we are talking everything on online, and we are talking about the virtual universities also. And gradually, as we had already discussed, that from the postal or correspondence system of education, we have moved through open and distance learning, through audio video support, then the material support, then gradually we are trying to blend these services also with face to face. And even now we have been trying to include the online services and online even technologies also to blend these services and reach through the learners. Now the distance between the teachers and the learners, or the distance between the institutions and the learners, uh, we are trying to minimize that gap by the use of technology and by the use of these type of services, which are very interactive, and we can say that have been designed to motivate the learning also. Okay. uh, yeah. Then we can now discuss about the counseling as a concept. We all are familiar about the counseling in one way or the other. We as we know that the counseling, um, in one way or the other, each one of us in our lives must have gone for taking some advice or some information or some guidance. Okay, maybe from our family members, maybe from the seniors of our family, maybe from your friends, or maybe to any institutions, or maybe from the doctors, or maybe uh, from any source you can refer to. Okay. Then what exactly this counseling? When we are helped by someone to define our goals, when we are in a dilemma, when we are not able to decide upon something, or when we are not able to perform a particular task with the existing solutions and existing options, or without though if we don't have certain information, or if we don't have the proper guidance to do something, then definitely we seek counseling, or we seek some kind of support. It's, we can say that the counseling is a collaborative process. It's not done by a single individual. Here the person who needs certain information and a person who is providing that information, that's why we are calling that it is a collaborative process. Okay. Uh, and as I've already said that the social, economic, educational, and the career concerns, as far as concerned, we try to take these the advantage of these services, and that's why we call the counseling as a collaborative process. Okay. Um, then we can say that counseling is a special category of human relationship. It's a it's a kind it's very different. Okay. Because through the counseling we are trying to motivate someone, or we are trying to even help someone, or if we are trying to make someone to take certain decisions. Okay. That's why we call it as a special category of human relationship also. Okay. um, and even it's we can say that it's a conversational process. Okay. How? Because when you come with certain problems, or when you face certain difficulties in your work, maybe here as we are talking about the distance learners, they may be facing certain problems for in their studies. Then they come to the teachers, and then they come to the institutions, then they may come to the counselors for the solution. Then how it happens? It happens through a conversational process. One because until and unless you communicate certain problems, then no one is going to know about your problems. You have to communicate that, and you have to initiate a conversation. Then only the problems can be solved, or a learner can be helped out to reach his or her goals. Okay. That's why we are defining counseling as a, even in terms of a conversational process, or a special category of human support, and as a collaborative process. I think the counseling is clear to all of you as a concept.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then should I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then what exactly this counseling is consists of? Okay. The counseling consists of uh, See, informing. Actually, when we are talking about informing, what exactly we mean? We are meaning that providing certain information or the correct information to the learners. Okay. When we say that if any learner come to us and he or she may ask that, sir, what is the last date for submitting the assignments, then the university or the personnel who is dealing with those learners should have that proper information and should communicate to the learners that yes, either March 15, if that is March 15, or if that is March 30th, then the person has to say no, March 31st is the last day for submission of your assignments. Or your if somebody comes and asks that when will be our term and examinations taking place, then definitely there should be proper information which has to be provided to the learners with correct dates and with correct information and with correct subject matter, as such we can say. Then okay, uh, yeah, then suggesting that means the institutions or the counselors or the tutor should be in a position to suggest the best possible option, or the which is the best one which suits the learners. Okay. We can so we can say that there are many programs or many courses which are available in the same field which a particular learner wants to pursue, but after a thorough discussion with the learner and after knowing the exact position and interest of the learner and the background of the learner and the kind of vision or mission that learner has in his or her mind, then the counselor should be in a position to suggest the best one which can help that particular learner to gain either knowledge or skills or whatever may be. Because um, we may provide or we may suggest many things, but out of that ultimately we have to suggest that this is the one that you might be looking for. You may relocate or you may consider it. Okay. And with appropriate justification also we can tell to the learners. As here I have given one example, that though many two math courses are there, but if you would like to be an engineer, then applied math should suit to your situation or suit to your requirement. These are the kind of suggestions that we are referring in counseling services. Okay. uh, Then about counseling, as I have already talked upon, that counseling is a mix of all these three activities: informing, advising, and counseling. And this is ultimately related to making certain decisions. Okay, it's the kind of we can say that uh, to clarify needs
Good
and
afternoon, sir.
sustaining their motivation towards the learning and solving their problems and to take certain decisions. Okay, these are the three things that generally constitute counseling.
Good
uh,
afternoon, sir.
yeah.
Please, from the information given on the system, can we
There
summarize and say that counseling is consists of activities, information, or is a
three
process of
activities.
giving information or help to someone who is facing difficulty in a particular area or has little knowledge of that thing? Or can we define it in that way from the definition you give?
Yes, as you rightly pointed out, that the counseling consists of three things. Okay, one is information, one is suggestion or advising, suggesting or advising, or the third thing is counseling. That means by doing certain counseling, we should either make that particular learner or the person to take certain decisions.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you, sir.
that means if somebody comes to us and asks about a particular institute and a university or availability of programs in particular field, then we may say that A, B, C, D, E, these are the programs available in particular field. Then that is called information. But after providing the information, if we talk upon and if we try to understand that learner in a proper way, if he or she is from the humanities, or if she or he is from the engineering background, or if or she is from the ICT background, then accordingly we can suggest them the appropriate courses and the appropriate programs that may provide the skills that uh, would enable the particular learner to proceed further or to grow further in his or her life, providing them many suggestion, many presenting before them the availability of many services, many courses, many programs. But ultimately, uh, after knowing that particular person's requirements, the counselor should be in a position to advise or suggest with a particular or a single, we can say that solution, that yes, ultimately this one will help you out for this particular problem or so on. And accordingly, the counseling, that means enabling our learners to take certain decisions to promote their self motivation as well as for their enhancement of learning also. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, it is
Yes,
clear.
it is. Yes.
Okay. Then,
Yes, sir.
then in open distance education context, when we are talking about counseling, then when exactly the counseling may be needed by the learners? Okay, that may be pre-admission. Okay, before taking admission, the learners may seek information about the existence of many programs, about the free structure, about the credibility of the degree, about the job opportunities after pursuing certain program, or about the various courses of that particular program. Many things they may seek information, and similarly they may seek advice also, because they may not be clear about the courses and programs, but all of a sudden they may come that I am from this background and which course would suit me. That kind of questions also they may ask to the counselors or to the service providers. Then the institution should have the capable persons as counselors who should be in a position to help the learners in providing those kind of counseling, we can say that before admission or pre-admission. Then during the course, as we all know, that during pursuing any program or a course, they may struck with the study materials that they receive, or they may seek clarification regarding the submission of assignments, as I have already given example, or they may would like to know about the we may would like to know more about a particular concept, or they may would like to know about the references or the further readings also, or any other queries as such, or maybe during pursuing any program, all of a sudden they may face some certain family problems and they get demotivated from their studies, and then to come back to their own studies and to be again self-disciplined, they may seek certain advice or counseling from the service providers. Then also it comes under the during pursuing the program. This is the stage many learners also need this one. Okay, post completion, yes, definitely the career concerns, job opportunities, and selection of higher programs in the for pursuing higher programs in the education programs in the future, these all come under the post entry stage also. Okay, then the forms of counseling or the types of counseling that we can talk about. Okay, one-to-one versus group counseling. See, as a counselors, we should be in a position to discuss about about conduction of the counseling also. Okay, we can differentiate between the counseling in one-to-one versus group counseling. When exactly group counseling is needed and when exactly the one-to-one counseling is needed, the counselors should identify that and provide accordingly. Okay, for example, if admission for a particular program is going on and there are 30 or 40 learners who have shown interest and would like to join a particular program, then the counselors may call them together and conduct a group counseling where the counselors can talk about that particular program or courses, the assignments, the fee structure, and the assessment system, and all the requirements that a particular group of people or learners who are interested to join that program would like to know about. But one-to-one counseling, if any one of that particular batch has a personal problem or a physical problem or some economic problems or the problem related to the materials or any other issue, then the counselors may not call the whole group for giving or for discussing those things. The counselors have to take a decision that no, this is the personal problem and this problem cannot be discussed in a group. Okay, the learner may not feel it comfortable to discuss the problems in a group. That's why the counselor can understand the problems of the learners and he or she should call for one-to-one counseling in that sense. Okay, I think one-to-one versus group counseling is clear.
Yes,
then
sir. Yes.
then face-to-face and mediated counseling. Okay, the mediated face-to-face means when we are sitting in front of each other and talking about or discussing about one concept and trying to understand each other and help each other or to help someone to take particular decision, then we may call it as face-to-face counseling. But when we are doing the same thing with the use of another mediatory or with the use of any sources, then we call it as mediated counseling. For example, if we are sitting in two cities and we are writing letters to each other and seeking information and advice from one other, then we may call it as a letter counseling or counseling through the letters. Similarly, the emails, blogs, wikis, or the web pages, those may be used, and even nowadays the WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook. Okay, all these social medias are also used for counseling. Similarly, the telephone and the telephonic counseling we can talk about. Okay, then we may interact over the radio, then we can interact over the television. Then these all are the counseling that can be that can be happened with some mediatory sources, and that's why we called it as a mediated counseling also. Okay, then developmental and problem solving. When we are talking about the developmental counseling, then definitely we are talking about the courses and the programs, okay, and the kind of academic content that we have given to our learners, and if they have any problems, or if they would like to pursue any higher education programs further, then also we are talking about then we are referring it to the developmental counseling. But when we say as problem solving counseling, that as I was discussing about the personal problems, or the problems related to the persons with disabilities, or the social problems which come in the community. These are the problems which the learners may or may not discuss in a group situation. They may discuss in personally to the caregivers or the counselors. Okay, they may not like to discuss those things in front of others also. Then to to solve that particular program, that what are the skills that they need to learn, and how they can be we can say that be suggested, or maybe helped out to take particular decision to solve the problems, is called the problem solving counseling also. Then academic and non-academic counseling. When we are talking about the academic and non-academic counseling, suppose a learner is coming and seeking some information or advice um, about the availability of particular program in a particular region or province by the university, and then he or she may ask about the change of address, or they may ask about uh, the correction in the name, then they may ask about the particular dates. Then all these things come under the administrative kind of counseling. But when they talk about the academic counseling, that is purely related to the subject matter or the content which is being taught during pursuing any program. For example, today we are talking about the learner support systems and services, and that to be the counseling and tutoring services as a major learner support. If any one of you any problem related to these concepts, then definitely that is coming under the academic counseling. But if you have any problems related to for example, the the power failure that happens in many times, if you are not able to contact, or if you are not able to join the counseling sessions, then you may share it, or you may discuss it with me that you had missed particular class, then how to cope with that, or how that can be accessed afterwards, or something related to that. Then definitely that is coming under the problem solving counseling, or non academic kind of thing. But if you are talking about a particular concept, then or a particular course, or particular assignments or examinations, then it is coming under the academic counseling. Okay,
Hello, sir.
then yeah,
I have a question.
yes.
Will I be wrong to conclude that one-to-one counseling and face-to-face counseling is the same?
Uh, one-to-one counseling also can be a mediated counseling. Okay, as we are if someone is talking to you over a telephone and taking your advice or guidance, or if you are motivating someone, or if you are helping someone to take a certain decision over telephone, that also can happen. You no need to sit in front of each other. You may do it over telephone, or by through mails, or by letters, or by other sources also nowadays, by WhatsApp, or by uh, personal chats or something like that. Okay, but the another one you have asked, face to face. Then when we are talking about the face to face counseling, that means we are talking a kind of classroom situation. Okay, where the physically both the learners as well as the counselors are to be present and discuss certain things, or ultimately we are talking about the physical presence of both counselors and teachers together. That is called face to face counseling. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, loud and clear, sir.
Okay. uh, Friends, are there any other queries?
Yes, Doc, I have a question also.
Yeah.
Maybe a clarification on the mediated counseling. You meant using of the media technology that is mediated. When you are counseling someone, then you're using form of media that is mediated, isn't it?
Yes, if we are using a particular manual or a handbook, okay, where we have written a lot of information and given perhaps maybe discussed certain problems and certain situations, hypothetical situations we have provided, and by provide after providing the hypothetical situations, we may provide certain solutions for them, and how to choose the best alternative available in front of us to take a decision. This may be provided through handbooks also to the learners. Okay, that is called the mediated counseling. And similarly, the mediated means any media that is any medium that is used to provide counseling between to the learners or to the persons whoever are seeking counseling is called that kind of counseling is called mediated counseling. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Then role of tutoring in ODL. Okay, academic advising, that we have already talked. Okay. Okay, then about a course choice after completion, and um, these are the things which we are talking about, the academic tutoring. Okay, or after knowing the particular requirements of the learners, suggesting them the appropriate course or program also. Then then that is called, see, this is academic advising. Okay, then academic instruction. When we are talking about academic instruction, that means responding to the questions that come from the learners. Okay, as we are discussing the concept of counseling and tutoring, if you are asking something related to the face to face counseling, mediated counseling, one to one counseling, academic counseling, then I should be in a position to give respect to you and should take your question and should try to uh, help you in understanding the concept and to clarify your doubts. Okay, or that is called academic okay, and that is academic instruction. And even clarifying the course materials whenever necessary to the learners. For example, a particular concept or a particular thing is discussed under any one under the course materials. If the learners are not in a position to understand or to grasp that content, then the counselor should be in a position to help them out to understand that and to make use of that content and to get their queries cleared on that particular content or piece of work, we can say. Okay, then developing additional resources and tutorial materials are also coming under academic instruction. Then helping them to develop specific skills also. Okay, these are called academic instruction. Then academic facilitation. Okay, academic advising, academic instructions, academic facilitation. Okay, when we are talking about tutoring, we are talking only about the academic part. Okay, when we are talking about counseling, that is a kind of we can say that that is non-academic also. Okay, but when we are talking about the tutoring, then definitely it is purely academic or related to the courses and programs only. Okay, academic facilitation, uh, providing remedial help and even helping from where they can find that or get that facility. Okay, um, then providing them and but alternative materials and sources and helping them out to have those materials also coming under the academic facilitation. Planning. Okay, planning and guiding discussions, because if I initiate one discussion among you, then I should be there to facilitate also to that discussion, and ultimately, okay, that may be conducted either face to face. Let me know if there's anything else I can help you with. Either that can be conducted face to face or online also. Yeah, then academic assessment. Okay, academic advising, academic instruction, academic facilitation, then academic assessment. When we are talking about academic assessment, okay, that means all the work related to the assessment, we can say that preparation of assignments. Okay, then clarifying the assignment tasks and clarifying the doubts to the learners. Okay, then providing the constructive comments to the learners on their assignment responses. Okay, these are coming under the academic assessment part of view as a tutoring process. Then apart from these four things, there are other aspects which are coming under the tutoring, is maintaining communication with the learners. Okay, initiating the contact, initiating the okay, and maintaining it with the learners throughout the courses and programs that they are pursuing. Okay, then helping the learners to provide certain information or advice that may cause hamper, or that may cause harm, or that may stop them to learn something, or that may be an hindrance to do particular course or program, then that is also the counselors have to. Then record keeping and communication with admin. Then the role of tutor or the tutoring is that record keeping and and communication with the administration. Okay, because the tutors or the academic counselors, we can say that when they are doing the evaluation work of the learners, then they should provide the data with them and communicate the same into the administration time to time. Okay, then verifying the students records at the beginning. Okay, even the counselors or the tutors, they should know the various performance that are being developed by the institution for different purposes. Okay, and even they should be in a position to provide the learners the correct information, that when the exams will begin, what are the procedures to fill the examination form, and so on. We can say that the counselors also sometimes need to be inducted and oriented about various things that are being added to the institutional services and being provided to the learners. Okay, uh, then what are the characteristics of an ideal tutor, the attributes of an ideal tutor that we can refer, that because an ideal tutor always likes to attract more and more questions from the learners. He or she would like to take more and more questions possible from the learners. Okay, um, then even helps to clarify the doubts or the concepts which are not being clear to the learners by giving various examples also. Okay, uh, then if as a tutor, if for example, if I am evaluating your assignments, then I should be in a position to make it very clear that why a particular mark has been given to the learner, and should communicate the mistake that he or she has done with appropriate justification, and even with advice also, that how that particular uh, shortcoming should be eradicated in the future by the learners, or maybe overcome by the learners in the near future. Okay, and always should be cheerful and should make constructive comments. The counselors are not expected to do some sort of misleading and negative comments. If some learner come and ask a particular question, then the counselor should not say that not to come, or if you have that problem, what can I do? Do and do whatever you would like. These kind of statements from the counselors will definitely demotivate the learners. That's why it is said that the counselors always should be cheerful and um, comments to motivate the learners. Okay, and write all clarifications and all comments which are to be given to the learners after the assignment submissions. Then those comments should be in a legible way also. Okay, and written assignments very promptly, that is also uh, important, and understanding about the learners in a better way. Okay, that is also very important on the part of the academic tutors. Then benefits of tutoring. What are the benefits of tutoring? Okay, tutoring definitely will help to improve our motivation, our uh, self discipline, then competency, motivation. Okay, and it really improves the study pattern or study rate also, and it reduces the attrition, we can say, that the dropouts that are happening, because there may be learners who join themselves into any particular course and program, and after 2 or 3 months they disappear and they don't want to do that particular program. Then tutoring, if the tutors are behind with them, and if they keep on informing or advising them properly, then it's a kind of motivation through which the learners will be with the institution, and they will be tracked, and they will be uh, doing the program in a better way, or in smoothly, with the development of the knowledge and skills as well. Okay, the subject specific knowledge, yes, definitely, it will increase the the counselors should increase their subject related information and knowledge also. Okay, and definitely it will increase the relationship between the learners and as well as the counselors also. Then motivates the self-directed learning also through the proper kind of tutoring. Okay, uh, then definitely we can talk about the tutoring and counseling. And as of now we have seen that how the tutoring is related to the academic aspect, whereas counseling may be both academic and non-academic also. Okay, uh, and uh, it may be it is not directly related to the content part. Okay, which is being initiated by the learners, and personal psychological and social problems also may come for the learners, and that they would like to discuss with the institution and the tutors also while pursuing the courses and programs. Then that definitely that comes under the counseling. Okay, uh, even the activities that which are being covered under the student support services, we can say, because the admission, financial support, then assessment and evaluation support, the kind of support that is being needed to pursue certain program with the help of self-learning materials, these all come under these services. Okay, then the tutoring is related to the content which is being imparted to the learners through a particular course or through different courses in a single program. Okay. It may be said that it is totally study related or purely academic in nature also. Then the kind of assignment response, the submission of assignment responses, the comments that are being given by the academic counselors, and the supplemental communication which takes place between the learners and the counselors based upon the comments, and almost it is related to the subjects or the courses that are being taught by the institution, we can say. And even while talking about the differences, then we can say that the counseling is maybe always should be, we can say that ideally it should be learner centered, and that happens also that the learner should be given enough space and enough space to discuss their problems and queries, and uh, they should be helped in a proper way with the necessary with the specific information and proper advice and proper guidance by the counselors and the teachers. When we talk about the tutoring, that means that may be initiated by the teacher. Yes, of course, that may be also be initiated by the learners, but mostly the tutoring is teacher centered and the counseling is learner centered. We can say that. Okay. And these are the differences that we can talk and we can refer about these two concepts. Then we can talk about the qualities of a good academic counselor, or for an effective counseling session, a counselor needs certain qualities to be developed under him or her. Those may be warmth, acceptance, genuineness, and empathy. In short, that we call them as WAGE. Okay. Along with these four mentioned qualities, they may need quite many other good qualities also, but these are the qualities which make them an effective counselor. Okay. When we talk about the warmth, what exactly you mean by warmth? Warmth it is it's a kind of personal okay it's a kind of ability to communicate one's personal warmth. Okay, hello, good morning, how are you? These are the things that we are generally talk about under this warmth as a quality for the academic counselors. Okay. It should be appropriate and genuine, but should not be overdone. Okay. If I keep on doing or showing the warmth again and again, that also gives a negative impression, and for that sake there should be warmth in a positive way, and that should not be overdone again and again also. Okay. Or it should not even give a feeling to the learner that to should not provide or to a kind of opportunity to manipulate. Okay. That's why it is said that this thing should not be overdone also. Okay. The reasons for not being warmed by the academic counselors, if we see, then tiredness, overwork, consciousness of status, or and unfavorable attitude. These are the things which generally are the obstacles for showing warmth towards the learners. If we can come over, or if we can get out of these things, then definitely we can have the quality, that is warmth, in ourselves as a person, as a counselor, or as a teacher also. Acceptance. Okay, the second quality that a counselor needs is acceptance. Okay, and accepting the people or accepting the learners as they are, without criticizing or judging about themselves. Okay, the tutor or the teachers or the counselors should not be the judges. They should accept the learners as they are. If somebody is having any problem, then definitely the teachers and the tutors and the counselors should be in a position to analyze that problem and should understand that problem, and accordingly they should help the learner either academically or non-academically, whichever will suit to that learner, to pursue that program and to keep his or her motivation high, and to be in touch with the course content, and to complete the program, we can say. Okay, uh, because if we provide some negative statements, or if we provide certain criticism, okay, that is that can shut down the communication between two persons. If I give negative statement about you, or if you try to discuss something, and I if I don't allow you, or if I stop you again and again, okay, then definitely that will give a negative impression, and that will uh, there is a chance that the communication between you and me will be stopped, and you cannot learn, and even I cannot teach, or I cannot be a good counselor as such. Okay, um, and similarly the abilities that which hamper a person to have that acceptance as a quality, maybe uh, authoritarian personality, prejudices, ethics, okay, and wrong ideas about particular thing. These all are the things that hinder a person to be a good counselor in terms of acceptance as a quality is concerned. Okay, then genuineness. Okay, this is another quality that a counselor needs to develop. Genuineness, and one should be very free and open minded, and very we can say that naturally oneself, or friendly. Okay, these are the things that makes one person very genuine. Then being honest with oneself, that is also more important to be genuine. Okay, status concern, status consciousness. Okay, and even feelings of own adequacy, inadequacy, which are very hard to admit. Okay, these are the things which generally doesn't allow a person to be genuine in his or her profession as a counselor. That's why these are the things which one should overcome and try to develop or work upon to be a good academic counselor. Then empathy. Okay, the quality of empathy that we are referring. Okay. Empathy means showing some sort of positive response to a person's feelings and problems, and one can place him or her at the place of the problem, the person who is facing the problem, and seeing the problem as his own problem is a kind of quality that we are emphasizing upon as empathy. Okay. And
Thank you, sir.
yeah, are you saying something?
Hello.
Yes.
I have a question pertaining to the qualities of a counselor.
Yeah.
My question is, are counselors born or they are made? I'm saying this because we have seen in some situations we have a counselor, but the approach of this counselor, I'm telling you, is a hell. Now, should we say that these particular counselors are they made, not born? Thank you.
See, nobody is born with all these qualities. Okay, one has to learn as they grow in their lives, from the childhood, from the education, and even as learners of this particular course. That's why we are talking about and we are discussing all about these skill qualities that a counselor needs, because tomorrow if you will be a counselor, then you will definitely try to develop all these qualities in yourself, so that it will not only be helpful for you as a good counselor, but also for the learners for whom you will be providing the academic support or counseling or information or advice as a teacher, as a counselor, as a tutor. Then definitely they will also get benefited. That's why we are saying that if you are in a position to select someone as an academic counselor, you should look these qualities in that person, that before appointing him or her as a counselor, whether that person has all these qualities or not. If these qualities are not there, then definitely we can either conduct some orientation induction programs, or we can discuss these qualities with the counselors, that see, this is the way you should behave with our learners, and these are the things that should be taken care of while counseling, and these are the qualities that a person should have to become an effective counselor and tutor. Then this is the way we can even incorporate, because no one is born with something. Everyone has to develop
Of course.
these qualities in terms of time and in terms of education and other values are concerned. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Doc,
Then
I have one point in mind. What
yeah.
if you say a good counselor should be a good listener?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Because if you want to be a good orator, then you have to be a good listener first. Okay. Until and unless you listen someone carefully, you will not be able to understand that person, and even cannot understand the problems or the kind of problem or the kind of communication that person would like to make with you, whether the learner seeks certain information or seeks advice, or seeks counseling. Until unless one listens to the learner, how can the counselor can identify that what exactly that learner would like to communicate? That's why one has to be a good listener first, and then uh, even to try to communicate or provide information or advice or providing counseling based upon the requirements. Okay. um
Hello, sir.
yeah.
So, sir, if I get you right, that means in academic setting, the counseling and the tutoring are just synonymous. They are one thing. They are not different, sir.
uh See, academic counseling and tutoring are same, unanimous. Okay, but when we are talking about counseling, we are saying that may be non-academic also. Counseling may be non-academic, but tutoring, when we are saying, that is purely academic and related to the study content. That's what we are saying. If somebody is asking about you about certain dates of submission assignments or address change or administrative support or free reimbursement, or trying to discuss some personal problems related to the family or certain physical problems, then the and may seek certain advice or information or motivational, we can say that psychotherapy to overcome those problems, then it is called counseling. That is not tutoring. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in that sense, I'm talking about the difference. Otherwise, yes, academic counseling and tutoring both are the same thing.
So how about tutoring and teaching, lecturing? These three terms, are they synonymous? Because these are most frequently terms used in our university.
Tutoring, lecturing, and
The tutoring, teaching, and
counseling.
lecturing. No, not
Okay.
counseling. Tutoring, teaching, and lecturing. Tutoring is the concept is very clear. Is there any distinction between the two? Are they different?
See, um, lecturing, if you ask me personally, then I will say that uh, I may speak or I may give a lecture on a particular topic. Okay, or I can speak for 1 hour or half an hour, and I may present the way I would like to present the content without two-way communication. Okay, that is lecture. Only I am talking and you are listening, that kind of thing. But when we are trying to say
Sorry for the
that
interrupt.
teaching,
Yeah, I got what you are saying. Just give me a moment. The reason why I'm asking this question, actually, in the Nigerian context, we referring to, we hardly use tutoring. We about like tutoring as lecturing,
mm,
not the way you define it. I think the nomenclature in Nigeria is a bit different from what is the general definition of the tutoring. That's why I'm asking.
can you be a bit louder?
Yeah, what I said, in Nigerian higher institution, we don't normally use torture. We use lecturing instead of torture. We are referring, according to the definition of torture, we are referring lecturing as torture in the Nigerian university. In
Okay.
fact, we never use
Yeah,
torture.
see, sometimes it is.
Lecturing instead.
Yes, sometimes the concepts are interchangeable. Sorry. Mm, mm, just a second. Just a second. I was talking about the concepts. Okay, then definitely teaching and lecturing, and yes, as you rightly said, the concepts have been used interchangeably. But if you see those terminologies in a connotational way or by the definitional point of view, then definitely you can find the differences. But ultimately, the goal of any country or any educational institute is to impart or is to emphasize upon the teaching learning process. Teaching means from the teacher's point of view, when we are trying to uh, make someone to learn something, okay, through a process, that is called teaching. Okay, and that may consist of lecture, that may consist of the activities that we would like someone to do, that may consist of um, other aspects also. And the even this process may be called as teaching or tutoring also. That is the kind of uh, things, and we cannot say that deny those concepts and exactly demarcate that this is the particular terminology that is used for this. No, this is not like that. Those are interchangeably used and accepted by the societies, accepted by the policymakers also. That's why there is no comment as such. But yes, definitely uh, each one of us is looking at the effective teaching learning process. That's why the tutoring and the lecturing and teaching, as you said, yes, these are the things which we talk about. And we should focus upon the kind of work and the activities that we are doing, whether we are pursuing following the values or not, whether we are going for the qualities and the kind of um skills that we need to develop among ourselves, as either as while lecturing or while teaching or while doing any kind of uh, counseling and tutoring. Then this is really more important in that sense. uh, we were talking about I think only 9 minutes are left. Let me talk about the skills of a counselor. Then we can maybe uh, in the next class we can continue about the technologies and organizing counseling if time doesn't permit. Otherwise, I will try to discuss it. Okay, the skills of a counselor, the selecting. Okay, after listening to the students or the learners, one should be able to uh, select, okay, whether the particular discussion that has taken place by the learner is whether he or she is seeking any particular information, advice, or counseling, or any academic support in terms of teaching learning is concerned. And that one has to select first. Okay, then listening, as we were discussing, that one has to be a good listener. That is definitely very helpful, and that is needed on the part of a counselor. That is more important. And then structuring also, that after listening, then one has to structure the content in a systematic way, okay, as a counselor, that which one has to be communicated first, and after that how those things can be strengthened with the another one, and which should come after which one. Accordingly, one has to structure and communicate to the learners so that it will be understandable and easier also on the part of the learners to grasp and to get some kind of motivation, or can enable them to take a particular decision also, because step by step one has to go. That's why it is said that one has to structure also. Okay, these are the three qualities that we are talking. Okay, then definitely we are, one second. Structuring that we, okay, because as I was talking about the information advising and counseling, that one has to select, and if we provide any inappropriate kind of thing, then definitely that will stop the progress of the learning also. Okay, that's why structuring is more. Then we can talk about the listening. Okay, any kind of either information advisory or counseling, listening is most important, and the important I think the most important part of any counseling. And questions, acknowledgement, reflections, and silences, these are the things one has to adopt as a counselor and as a good listener also. Okay, um, because if you are listening, then also you should ask the questions that are relevant, then acknowledge someone who is talking about, then reflections and the appreciations also. These are the things definitely will help anyone to be a good listener also. Okay, then just structuring. um, as I have already said, that one has to decide uh, at what time which one is needed for whom. Okay, if any learner is seeking only information, then definitely we can provide them the information. If someone is seeking any advice or suggestion, then accordingly we should provide them. And if somebody is seeking the uh, all the three things, or we can say that counseling, then based upon the individual requirements, that also we should uh, provide to the learners. Then even structuring can be consisting of three different things. Okay, clarification, checking, and consequences. These are the three things that we should take care of while we are talking about the structuring also. Okay, okay. Organizing a counseling session. Okay, then planning at the beginning, and we can say that whenever we join, or whenever we get admission and that kind of thing, we can plan to organize any counseling session. Then availability of physical space, availability of human resources, and other situations also are very important when we plan for a counseling session. Okay. uh, then information of counseling schedule well before in advance to the learners. Okay. And generally ODL institutions, they try to conduct the counseling sessions on the weekends or and evening hours only. Okay. Timely budgeting and arrangement, physical structure, these are the important things which will need for the successful conduct of counseling. Okay. Then information and communication technology, um, broadcast, answer phone, SMS services. Okay, these are the things which are very important in information and communication, as such we can say. Uh, Web support, when we talk email, blog, wiki, charts, forecasting. Okay, these are the technologies, and these are the platforms which we use for the counseling is concerned. Okay. The need and orientation of academic counselors is also much important. Okay. I think, friends, we can stop here and we can continue from here in the next class, that how we can identify the academic counselors and how we can proceed further. There may be one or two slides are left, such we can continue from there. Okay. Hello, can you listen me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Just a second. Uh, how 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 is this counseling and tutoring? Is it boring or interesting?
It is very
So
interesting, sir.
interesting.
Very
It is,
interesting, sir.
it is interesting, sir.
Okay. We will do one thing. We will revise from organizing the counseling sessions in the next class and continue maybe 20 minutes on this aspect, and then we will move on to the next block, that is on assessment and evaluation. Okay. And
Yes,
meanwhile, I would like you to come after reading the blocks, block 4 as such, but any previous blocks 1, 2, 3, if you can read and come, then we can have the discussion also. Okay.
All right, sir.
Okay. Now can we close this
sir. No,
meeting?
Yes, sir. It's okay.
Yes, sir. Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Really
Thank
appreciate
Thank you so
you
much.
very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Uh,
Thank you.
it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Very interesting.
bye, colleagues. Bye, colleagues.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Very good.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Yes, Maudala.
No, sir.
You are raised your hand.
Yes, sir. I raise my hand to say bye
Okay.
for
Bye.
all.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
That's interesting. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
So thank you, sir. See you next.